Your mind is racing. You can spiral out of control.
You experience every negative feeling.
It felt like somebody punched me in the stomach, knocked me out. My name's Bernadette Misk, and I'm from Niagara Falls, Ontario.
I'm Bernadette's husband, Joe, and from Niagara Falls as well.
Julianne had a very, very high tolerance for pain. She came into my room complaining about a toothache. Long story short, did a biopsy, came back with the diagnosis of osteosarcoma, bone cancer. That little girl riding without a fibula in her leg after going through surgery and grueling chemotherapy.
She was so determined. As hard as it has been, we realized that she was a gift. And sorry, we're grateful for that. We're going to be riding in Julianne's honor.
My name is Robin Goldman, and I am from Ajax, Ontario.
I don't think anyone's ever ready to be told that they have cancer. Felt like my life was ripped out from under me. After that moment, I haven't once thought that I'm gonna die. Not once. But when you don't know, you have no idea. All you know is cancer's scary. You just figure out how to keep going.
Venki Srinivasan, Mississauga, Ontario. Cancer still got a scary tone to it. Whoever you are, however strong you may be, when somebody says you have cancer, you have no idea whether you're going to come out alive on the other side or not, whether you're going to be there for your next son's birthday or not. December 6, 2015. It was a surreal moment for me and my wife. We were sitting and talking to the oncologist. You're waiting to hear those words, and he didn't quite say it until, we had to say, does that mean I'm in remission? And then he said, yeah, you are officially in remission as of today. Doing this ride for cancer, it's very near and dear to my heart because I know that the money is going towards research, and Princess Margaret has been leading the charge. I wouldn't be alive today talking to you if there was no research.
I may be the one in treatment, but we're all impacted. We as a whole, collectively, and that's why we ride.
The energy at the ride to conquer cancer, especially at the beginning, it's an experience you didn't know you needed.
I would say it's a roller coaster of emotions during the start.
You look and you have like 4,500 people behind you, all for that purpose.
You have so much adrenaline.
That gun goes off, you're like, yeah, let's do this.
When you have the opportunity to ride with those thousands of riders and those hundreds of cancer flags, all the supporters, volunteers, it touches you in a way that you can't imagine.
It's like the entire city or cities come together for this ride. The cancer journey, it's tough. There are days when you have nothing left in the tank. You just have to tell yourself, just keep going.
Just show up for yourself and the rider beside you. And you may not know that person, and going through treatment, you may not know that person beside you in the waiting room who's getting an infusion. There's somebody behind you, beside you, to pick you up when you need that.
All of a sudden, there's this sea of people just lined up.
Cheering you on, and they see you coming, and you're like, yes!
Crossing the finish line, it's everything.
You're never ready for that emotion.
The sense of pride that comes with it, shared with thousands of other people.
I wrote this letter to me who had just heard that I have cancer.
You may not see it now, but you're exactly where you're supposed to be.
Julianne, your dad and I love and miss you beyond words.
Everyone you know will rally for you to win this battle. You'll need all the help that you can get.
You showed up for yourself. I'm so proud of you, Rob.
Your dad and I will continue to do the Ride to Conquer Cancer in your name and raise much needed funds for research and pray that a cure is found for this horrible disease.
Enjoy the ride.
Hey everybody, Steve Merker here, Chief Bike Guy of the Princess Margaret Ride to Conquer Cancer. It's so awesome to see so many people on Facebook and on YouTube. And I have to say, this past Saturday, we had our training ride out in Milton at the Velodrome, and it was awesome. 250 people showed up to our training ride. I think that's a world record for the Ride to Conquer Cancer. And if that's indicative of what's to come, I'm so excited for what's going to be around the corner, June 10th and 11th. So for those who don't know me, I've been around since day one of the Ride to Conquer Cancer. I'm thrilled to be a part of this event. This is our sweet 16-year anniversary coming up, and I wanted to share one quick story. I was talking to my colleague Noor earlier this afternoon, and I said, "Hey Noor, what should I talk about in my intro?" She says, "Steve, tell us a story." And there's so many incredible stories over the years of doing the ride. And there's many that stick out, but one in particular, and I can't remember what year this was, maybe about 10 years ago. And unlike the beautiful weather we usually get on the Ride to Conquer Cancer, it was a cold and rainy start to the ride. And we were at the first pit stop, and one of my buddies was freezing because he forgot his rain jacket at home. So he actually he went to the people handing out the bagels at the first pit stop, and he grabbed one of the garbage bags out of where all the bagels were, and he cut holes in the arms, and he put that on as a rain jacket, so he was covered in poppy seeds. And as he was preparing his new rain jacket filled with poppy seeds, I looked down, and I saw a guy that I know. He's an orthopedic surgeon, and he's battling pancreatic cancer. And pancreatic cancer, as many of you know, is not usually doesn't have a favorable outcome. And this gentleman was so inspired to do our ride. He was getting treated at Princess Margaret, and he was sitting in the rain. And in his little waist pack, he had a vial of blue liquid. And the blue liquid I was drinking was Gatorade. But the blue liquid in this vial was his medicine. He actually had to take out a needle and inject himself at the pit stop in the rain, in the cold. And I just looked down. I felt so bad for this guy because it was cold and wet, and he's injecting himself with whatever medicine he had to take. And I said, "Mike, I'm really sorry, man. Like, is there anything I can get you? Like, it's not a great day." He looked up at me. He said, "Steve, every day is a great day." This guy was just so thankful for being able to ride, dealing with pancreatic cancer with a survival rate of under 11%. The good news is Mike is still alive to this day. He did the ride many years after that. And it was such a heartwarming story. We were all battling the cold and the rain. And here is Mike saying that every day is a beautiful day. Because 15 or 20 years ago, if he was diagnosed with the same kind of cancer, there's no way he'd be, riding or even on this planet. So I wanted to share that story. And there's going to be more stories like that on this year's ride. And the last thing I wanted to leave you with before I hand it over to my colleague Ryan is in the Globe and Mail today, there was a story about glioblastoma. And glioblastoma is another really tricky type of cancer. It ranks right up there with pancreatic cancer, actually, in terms of survival rates, although I think it's getting better. And there was some really encouraging news. And one of the authors of this paper that was published in Nature magazine was Dr. Gallery Zadeh. Gallery Zadeh is a neurosurgeon here at the Princess Margaret. She deals with people with glioblastomas all the time. And what is going on with glioblastoma and how they can treat patients now is just unbelievable. And if you haven't seen the article in the Globe and Mail, just Google it and put in Dr. Gallery Zadeh, glioblastoma. In the paper, there was a picture of Gord Downey from the Tragically Hip. We all know the Tragically Hip, one of the best Canadian bands ever, actually one of the best bands ever, in my opinion. And sadly, we know what happened to Gord Downey. But if Gord Downey were alive today, maybe there'd be other better options for him. And I hope we can say that for everyone who's diagnosed with glioblastoma or pancreatic cancer or any type of cancer. because of what you all are doing by participating in the ride, challenging yourself to raise over $2,500 or more, and riding over 200 kilometers or more, as we know. So as one of the co-founders of the ride, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for taking on the challenge of riding and supporting Princess Margaret. We're about to get into the nuts and bolts of what to expect on Ride Weekend. So Ryan Bailey, our newly appointed leader of the ride here at the Princess Margaret, over to you, Ryan.
Thanks so much, Steve, and thanks for sharing those stories with us. I know we all have our own stories about why we ride, and I know those folks on the phone today will have their own stories, but it's always great to hear from me, especially being new, all the wonderful things we call the ride magic that come up throughout the event weekend and even beforehand. So I just want to take you through, we're going to introduce the team in just a second, but before we do that, I want to walk you through the agenda of what to expect over the next hour or so. As I mentioned, we're going to meet the team virtually, of course. We're going to talk a bit about online check-in today. For those of you who are longtime riders, you will know what OCI stands for, our online check-in process. We want to take the group through that. Our event logistics, we're going to get into the nuts and bolts and the details of a lot of what to expect on Ride Weekend. And that will all be included as part of our event logistics piece. Training and nutrition. Hopefully you have been training and you have been taking care of yourself from a nutrition standpoint, but we'll talk about how to do that over the next 4 weeks or so to make sure you are ride ready, as well as safety, both pre-event and on-event, and all of the things that we do to take care of you throughout the event weekend. Fundraising, we've got a special guest speaker who's going to come in and talk to us a little bit about fundraising today, complemented by our team. Recognition, how do we recognize those that go above and beyond with their fundraising? A special surprise, as well as Q&A. So if you do have any questions that come to mind as we're presenting on various topics, please do include them as part of, or in the chat, I should say, and we're going to track those and make sure that we get to as many as we can before the hour is up. We'll move over to the next slide. So the team, we have a wonderful team here. Some members you will have a chance to meet today, and some are behind the scenes and won't be joining us today, but you will have a chance to meet on Ride Weekend. There are a number of us that are working on the ride each and every day to make sure we provide the best possible experience for all of you. I'll introduce a few. Steve needs no introduction, but our Chief Cycling Officer and co-founder of the ride, Steve Merker. Myself, just here since January and having a chance to get up to speed very quickly on all things ride. Looking forward to meeting those of you who I have not yet met. I also want to introduce Alyssa Park. Alyssa will be on the call today too, as well as Matthew D. Pasquale and Nora Issa. For those of you who have been participating even this year or for some time, you probably have connected with Alyssa or Nora in the past. Matthew is our newest addition to the team. And then our wonderful EPC team, Sydney Wade, we've got Candace, Stephen, and Sarah as well. And we make up the ride team. So we're looking forward to seeing you. Those of you who we have not connected with, look forward to seeing you in person through Ride Weekend. The next slide, anybody in events, close to events or close to the ride knows the ride would not be what it is without our very generous sponsors. So I want to take a second, thank all of our sponsors, both our long-standing partners. We know we have some folks from KPMG and RBC on the call. CIBC joining us this year. Carpenters Union have been a long-time supporter. We have a lot of wonderful partners that make the ride what it is, not only from a sponsor support standpoint, but we know a lot of our sponsors also participate as riders in the event. I know we've got some folks from RBC, Lori and Alfio on too, so great to see you. I do want to just call out, we're always looking for new partners, new sponsors, new ways to engage with our ride community. So if you do have any sponsors that you think you'd like to bring forward or would be a great fit for the ride, please do email us, either myself and all of our contact information will be shared post-orientation, or of course, you can always get in touch with us through our ride guides as well. So with that, I will pass it over to my colleagues, Matt and Alyssa, to take us through online check-in.
Perfect. Okay, thanks, Ryan. So OCI, or online check-in, is your opportunity to confirm your place at this year's ride and receive your ride ready kit in advance of the weekend. So I'm going to show you guys that just here. So your ride ready kit will include your jersey, obviously very important, your bike plates, your wristband, and then your luggage tag and some zip ties just to get your bike plates on your bike. So the link to the online check-in portal is available now just on our website. It's under event information, and it'll also be in your inbox. You'll need your username and your password to log in. Once you're going through the process, you can indicate what shuttle services you'll need, whether or not you're going to be using an e-bike on the ride, indicate if you need a tent at camp for this year, and you can verify your shipping address. So since OCI launched at the beginning of May, we've had over 1,600 riders already check in so far, which is really great. And so if you haven't taken advantage, we'll say that now is the time, and even more so because the deadline to complete online check-in and receive your ride ready kit by mail is coming up. It's just after the long weekend. It's going to be May 23rd at noon. So if you have not taken advantage yet, please do. And that way we can ensure that you receive your kit in the mail to your address before ride weekend. I'll just go to the next slide here. So just about self-pledges. So if you'd like to complete OCI and you have not hit your minimum fundraising, you'll be prompted to make either a delayed self-pledge or a DSP. You'll see that online, or an instant self-pledge, or ISP, after logging in. With the DSP, you'll enter your credit card information, but you'll have up until August 11th to reach the minimum fundraising required to participate in the ride. And that's going to be just based on your route option and the jersey selection that you made. So if you hit your minimum at any point in time before that date, your DSP is going to be instantly canceled. You won't need to worry about that. And then alternatively, you can make an ISP, or that's the instant self-pledge, and have your credit card just charged immediately. If you want to top yourself up, and you'll receive a tax receipt for your contribution to get you to the next level and then get you through OCI. So for any more information on DSPs and ISPs, you can visit our website, and you can look at the OCI section under our FAQs, or feel free, please, to reach out to our ride guides via email, phone, or live chat, and our group here can take you through all of that. So I'll hand it over now just to my colleague, Alyssa, who's going to talk about this year's early registration offers.
Thanks so much, Matt. Yes, so we have a few 2024 early registration options available during online check-in. If you know that you want to be part of the ride in 2024, this is a great opportunity to get registered. Firstly, you can register for $25, which is $50 off our usual registration cost, and receive the 2024 official ride shirt. Secondly, you can make a self-donation of $150 to receive free registration, as well as the 2024 official ride shirt. And finally, you can make a $250 self-donation and receive all of the above, as well as be entered into a draw to win 2 tickets to anywhere that Air Canada flies domestically. So very exciting. I'll go to the next slide. And here we have an official unveiling of the 2024 ride shirt. Looks very sharp. So please be sure to come see us at the registration tent on event to pick this up. If you don't take advantage of these re-reg offers during OCI, not to worry. These offers will also be available over ride weekends. So please be sure to come see our team at the registration tent. And now back to Noor, who will take us through the weekend overview.
Hi, riders. I am so excited to be talking to you about the weekend overview and what you may be expecting on Ride Weekend. Whether it's your first time or your 16th ride, there are some really key updates here for you. I really want to make sure that you feel prepared, but no need to be frantically taking notes. All of this information will be available for you on our website later this week. And we're also going to be recording this video, and it is going to be live on YouTube if you wanted to check out any specific sections. And if you've never done the ride before, you can ask any one of our longtime riders right here in the chat, and they will tell you the exact same thing. All you need to do on Ride Weekend is bring your overnight bag, bring your bike, and your energy, and we've got the rest covered. In fact, we're so confident that you're going to love it that we've already started early bird registration, and we will have it for you on site throughout the entire weekend. So what are we expecting for Ride Weekend? Well, before we get started, we actually have some pre-weekend dates for you. So you can pick up your Ride Ready kit, you can pick up your milestone helmet, exchange a vest or a jersey. If you're starting with us in Toronto, you can do that on Wednesday, June 7th at the Better Living Center from 11 to 7, or on Thursday, June 8th from 7 to 5 at the same location, or on Friday between 2 and 7 p.m. We will be relocating to our start line at Exhibition Place where you can do the same. On Friday, we will also start bike drop-off where you can drop off your bike the night before. And we will have a survival flag installation for any survivors who are riding and choose to identify themselves. If you do plan on doing that, we really recommend that you do that on Friday, even though it will remain available as a service for you on Saturday. There tends to be a long lineup on Saturday. Please be sure to bring ID with you and come to pick up your kit in person on your own, just so we know that we are giving it to the right person. And these dates are only necessary if you do not get your kit in the mail or you need to exchange something for your kit. And on this day, Friday, at the start line, we're actually going to have shuttle and bike transportation available from Toronto to Niagara Host Hotel between 3:30 and 6 if you are living in Toronto and want to start with us in Niagara. We also have some pre-weekend details for you in Niagara. On Friday, June 9th, between 2 and 7 at our house hotel, the Marriott on the Falls, you can pick up your Ride Ready kit, milestone helmet, or exchange your jersey. On this same day, but at our start line, you will be able to drop off your bike. Survivor Flag installation in Niagara is only available on Saturday morning, so please prepare time for that. And of course, we will have a transportation for you and your bike to Niagara if you choose to. And you may be wondering, on this weekend, there are so many different locations. Where am I supposed to be at all these times? You have the addresses all right here on the screen. Of course, they're going to be in our website, and we will have parking available at all of these locations and our pre-weekend locations as well. Everything will be online. So if you do have any questions, check it out there or don't hesitate to contact us. You may also be wondering, where am I supposed to be sleeping throughout this weekend? So I'm actually going to pass it right over to my colleague, Alyssa, who you may have communicated with about some accommodations to chat with you about some of those. Alyssa?
Great. Thank you, Noor. Yes. So we have host hotels that we partner with in both Toronto and Niagara Falls. So if you have not yet booked your overnight accommodations, please act quickly as there are limited spots available at both of these hotels. There are still a few rooms left at Mohawk College in Hamilton for the overnight stay at camp. McMaster is, their dorm rooms are fully booked at this time. Quickly about room key pickup. So when you arrive at camp on June 10th, if you have booked a dorm room at McMaster, you can head to the McMaster tent. You'll present your photo ID and your booking confirmation, and the fine folks at McMaster will give you your room key. If you've got a multi-occupancy room, you've got roommates staying with you, only one person is permitted to pick up the keys for everyone in your room. So please be sure to arrange ahead of time who is going to pick up the keys. For Mohawk College, our friends staying at Mohawk, if you'll have to find your own way there, on Saturday evening. But you can pick up your room key from the front desk at Mohawk anytime after 3 p.m. Similar process. You'll need to present photo ID as well as your booking confirmation upon arrival. And the guest with the name on the reservation will be able to pick up their keys. So back over to Noor to chat a little bit more.
Thank you, Alyssa. All right. The thing that you are really here for, what are we doing on Ride Weekend itself? So if you're starting with us in Toronto or Niagara, we'll have a very similar schedule this year. So at 6 a.m., the shuttles will depart from the host hotels of both areas and head to their respective start lines. By 6:30, our check-in services that I mentioned earlier that are available in the pre-weekend dates will be available also in that morning, as well as breakfast. All riders are expected to be on site by 7:30, and opening ceremonies will begin at 8. There, you will gather with everyone. You will be able to check in your luggage with our gear trucks that will transport your luggage to camp. You'll be able to pick up your bike if you chose to leave it with us the night before. You can make any last minute exchanges that you have. Then you'll be able to grab some food with us and get really pumped up by the electric atmosphere that surrounds us. Then you will be able to hear from inspiring speakers, survivors, and you will be surrounded by many yellow flags around you that are the symbol of hope for us. Then at 8:30, you will hear that ready, set, ride, and off you go on the route. Please note that for this year, in order to make sure that everyone feels safe, we are actually staggering the start. So please look out for announcements about different routes starting at different times. Although we maybe all be excited to be launching off at the exact same time, please do listen for any special announcements. And we will have a shuttle that will depart from lunch that will take you to camp for anyone who is doing the classic express route. The shuttles will leave when they are full and there is no set schedule. We will communicate directly with you about the exact location and more details. So don't hesitate to ask us any questions and be on the lookout for more communication about that. Then on the route, you can expect these different routes that are going to be appearing on the screen. I see quite a few questions in the chats about, are the routes on Strava? When can I expect them? Not to worry, we will email them to you. They are tentatively available online, and we will make sure that you get them in advance. You can see that we have fully supported pit stops along the way, roughly every 25 kilometers, where you can take a breather, use the washroom, and grab a bite to eat, and then you're ready to make your way to camp. Along the route, you can expect sweep vehicles, medical services, and bike techs to help you with any repairs. Be sure to look out for our cheer stations. You can see some of them in the purple icons on the screen, where you and your friends and family can gather and you can hear them cheer you on as you go along the route. And then on June 10th, once you arrive to camp, you will be met with camp festivities between 1 and 9 p.m., where your friends and family are welcome to join us. At 5 p.m. new this year, the leaderboard challenge will end. If you don't know what the leaderboard challenge is, definitely check it out on our website. It will close at 5 p.m. so that we can actually announce the winners at our camp show at 6 p.m. And at 7:30, our one-day rider shuttle and bike transportation will take you back from Hamilton to Toronto. Our bike transportation is provided by Canada Cartage, and they are experts at moving our equipment around. And let's talk a little bit more about my favorite part of the entire weekend, camp. It is a space that is buzzing. It is meant to help you recharge and celebrate with your fellow riders after a fun day on the road. At camp, if you've never been before, you will be met with catered food, sponsored drinks, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic, and many amenities like washrooms, bike storage, and of course, your luggage. Your friends and family are of course welcome to join you here to soak up that electric feeling, and there will be food items for them to purchase. Your meals are on the house. And if you've opted for the one-day ride, definitely invite your friends and family because this will be your finish line. Additionally, at camp, you will have the ability to watch some live entertainment, have massage by professional massage therapists. Yep, you heard me right. And you will be able to watch our amazing camp show hosted by none other than Steve himself and a few members of our ride team. Get ready to laugh, get ready to cry. It's a truly wonderful time. And new this year, be on the lookout for a fashion show at camp. If you have some really cool gear, a cool helmet, something that you want to show off, come find us at camp. We will send out a lot more information about that. And after a fun evening filled with inspiration, laughs, and drinks, it's lights out by 9 p.m. so you can be ready to hit the road bright and early on Sunday. And I wasn't kidding about bright and early. Breakfast service starts at 4:30 in the morning, and shuttle pickup from Mohawk to McMaster is at 5:30 a.m. While we don't have shuttle service the day before on Sunday, it's a really early day, so we've got you covered. And at 6:30, early birds can start going on the route, but we do expect all of our riders to be on the route by 7:30, except for our Classic Express riders who will start loading the shuttles at 8:30, and we will depart McMaster to make our way to your starting point by 9 a.m. On day 2, you will find very similar services and amenities that you can see on the map. This pictured here is our classic route. Of course, we do have multiples on day 2. Everything will be available on our website and Strava shortly, so be on the lookout for an email from us. And then once you make it to Niagara, you will be able to celebrate with us between 11 and 5 p.m., where your friends and family are welcome to attend. If you're in a rush to get back home, shuttle service starts at noon, and our finish line closes at 4:45 with the last shuttle going back from Niagara to Toronto by 5 p.m. At the finish line, once you're reaching those falls, you will hear your loved ones and, of course, the ride team cheering you on as you cross that finish line. You'll have access to washrooms, lunch, drinks, and limited showers will be available. Use this opportunity to register with us for the 2024 ride if you didn't already do that through check-in, or pick up your shirt. And even if you did all of that, come say hi to your biggest fans, the ride team. At the finish line, you can really celebrate the accomplishment and the epic commitment that got us another step closer to conquering cancer in our lifetime. So now that you know what to expect on ride weekend itself, let's make sure that you get there feeling ride ready. So I'll start by letting you know some of the things that you may want to pack. Like we talked about ID, money, credit cards. We recommend that you pack some spare tubes and patch kits in case you had any issues. All of this information will be available on our website. And here are some optional things that you may not have thought of. For me, the last one, shower flip-flops for any shared amenities, are not optional. And think of some of the clothes that you want to pack. You know, it does get a little bit cool at night. You may want some extra socks and a change of shoes. And if you plan on showering maybe on Saturday and on Sunday before you go, maybe pack an extra towel. But now let's talk a little bit more about how you can get ride ready with some training and nutrition tips by Steve. Over to you, Steve.
All right. Thank you, Noor. Training and nutrition. We are less than 4 weeks away to the Ride to Conquer Cancer, and we need to get everybody ride ready on the training ride on the weekend. I think there was a few folks who had their first ride on Saturday, so we have a little bit of work to do. So if we go to the next slide, and I'm going to give you some tips to kind of get some last minute prep in place. So training resources. So I did notice Noor did talk about Strava. We will be posting the routes probably next week. The routes will be posted to Strava, so you could download the files if you like to do that kind of stuff. If you're not on Strava, or if you're on Strava, make sure you join our Strava club. There is a free version of that app where you can connect with other riders and you can see what's going on. You can also link your personal fundraising page to your Strava so that your donors can see how you're training and preparing. Although if you're not training that much, maybe you don't want to do that. But we hope that you're all out there training, and we do encourage you to link your Strava to your fundraising page. Next slide, please. Okay, into the training tips. So as I think I saw in the Facebook chat, somebody reminded us all that this is a ride, not a race. And that is absolutely 100% true. This is not about who's first across the line. This is about how much money we're raising to help conquer cancer in our lifetime. We want to have a safe ride. Safety is our absolute number one priority. And if anyone thinks that they're going to get a KOM or if they're going to beat their friend to the next stop sign, that is not what we're here for. We are here to have this shared camaraderie and community in terms of conquering cancer, not racing along the roads of Toronto and York, or sorry, Peel Region and Hamilton. I just want to really reinforce that this is not a race. We have cyclists of all kinds of abilities participating. There's so many people who join the Ride to Conquer Cancer because cancer has invaded their world and they're motivated to do something. And doing a bike ride over 200 kilometers to Niagara Falls is something that inspires them, and they're just getting into cycling. So we want to encourage you all to try some group cycling. We had the training ride last weekend. If you belong to a team, try to get out with your team and learn how to ride with other people. You want to make sure that you learn the hand signals. And if you've checked in online already, you've seen our safety video where you learn how to use your hands to warn people about stopping, slowing down, turning. You want to verbally communicate with other riders around you as well when you are kind of getting into the safety side of things. But it's so important to be safe when you're getting ready for this ride. The main thing is staying active at least 2 to 3 times per week. If it's a rainy day and you're not going to go outside, then if you have the access to an indoor trainer, then that's fabulous. But if you don't, if you go for a swim or if you go for a run or a walk or just do something to keep active 2 to 3 times a week, that's key. As we do ramp up to the ride, I encourage everyone to do at least 1 long ride, maybe 2, of at least 75 kilometers long. And aim for that on the weekend. 2 weekends before the ride is the key one. Because as you get closer to the ride weekend, you want to start to lower your kilometers and rest your legs so that they're ready to ride over 200 kilometers if you're doing the 2-day ride. Remember to have seat time. Even if you're not riding that fast, you need to get used to being on the bike for that long. You also want to do back-to-back rides. So this weekend and the following weekend, try to get out for a Saturday, Sunday ride just to get your backside used to it, because a lot of people love day 1 of the ride, and then day 2 is an entirely different story. Getting on your bike after having breakfast on Sunday morning can be a painful experience for people who haven't had that seat time. And the last thing there, you see that a hard 45-minute spin class is equivalent to roughly 20 to 25 kilometers on the road. So if you have the ability to get on your Peloton, or if you're online on Zwift, or get to a spin class, like those are really helpful to get you ready and ride ready for June 10th and 11th. Next slide. We do have a training program that's posted online. If you want to take out your phones and scan the QR code, if you go to I think it's in our FAQ section, preparing for the ride, we have this training plan that Paulina Allen has developed for from new to moderate level cyclists. I think it's a 16 or 20 week training plan. So obviously we're well into the ride, but have a look at that if you want some specific guidance on what you should be doing in terms of getting ready for the ride. So use that resource. Next slide, please. So nutrition is also hugely important. We've had all kinds of weather. You heard me from the beginning talk about the story of the rain and the cold. Even when it's rainy and cold, you need to drink. You don't realize how much fluid you're sweating away or you're losing. You want to make sure you stay hydrated. We've had some super hot days. Also, when you're cycling and the wind is blowing, your sweat away, you don't realize how much you're actually sweating when you're riding a bike. You have to drink at least 1 bottle per hour is sort of a general guideline. We also have online in our FAQ section under ride support, the fueling plan. So that's just a screenshot of where it's located on the website, but go there and read what you're supposed to be doing in terms of eating and drinking, avoiding bonking. Bonking is when you run out of energy and you're completely, and it's actually dangerous when you completely bonk, but we don't want any of that to go on the ride. That's why we have pit stops every 30 kilometers approximately, and make sure you fuel up. You can't do any harm by overeating and over drinking, but you can do harm by underdoing it. Next slide. And I already talked a little bit about safety. It's absolutely our priority here at the ride. I do say to people at times that there are two types of cyclists. There's those who have crashed and those who will crash. I know that's not a very optimistic saying, but the key thing is that if you do crash, that you know how to, and our team knows how to deal with it. We want you to be as safe as possible, but if you do happen to get into an accident, you use 911. If you have a serious accident, that is the absolute number one thing you do. On the wristbands that we hand out as part of your credential package, there's a number on there to call also as a backup if you need a sweep vehicle. We have that for you. And for the new riders, we do not ride on the 401. We do not ride on the QEW. We ride on as safe of streets as possible. We work with all the municipalities who kind of guide us and suggest what routes to use. We have police at all major intersections. We have volunteers on moto safety, on trucks and trailers, and there's actually roving bike techs out there. We have a ton of support out on the roads. The first 15 kilometers have a dedicated lane. So as you leave down Lakeshore and then you hook up to Queensway, we have dedicated lanes as people start to spread out. What else? You always have to wear a helmet. And the other thing I just want to encourage everyone is we have a lot of experienced riders on the ride, and we have a lot of new riders on the ride. And it's up to the experienced riders to help mentor and support the newer riders. I've heard before where people say, well, there's a few people, they're not sure how to ride in a straight line, or they're not paying attention. Well, that's up to all of us as a community of riders in the Ride to Conquer Cancer to help educate and train, the newer riders to make sure that they understand how to ride safely. So let's behave as a community and support each other out there on the ride. Next slide. I think I'm going to be handing it over to the one and only Terry, who's the captain of Purpose Driven Cycling. We got the absolute pleasure to meet Terry at our team captain's training event back. I think it was in November or December, and Terry was just this unbelievable force. If you ever get a chance to meet Terry in person, I highly recommend it. And Terry has volunteered to come in today and talk about fundraising. So Terry, over to you.
Thank you, Steve. Great to be here. Great to be with all of you and tuning in wherever you are. My job here is to get you pumped up a little bit more, and I'm not sure how you do that when you're surrounded by such a great crew. Great opportunity to be in the office and meeting all of those who make our jobs as cyclists, team captains, just so easy. If you're here, you're engaged. If you're needing a little bit more help, we want to try and push you a little bit further forward. So I'm going to do that with 5 really simple points. And the first one is remember why. Remember why you signed up to ride. I can still remember the Thanksgiving where I met with my family in London, and my brother-in-law, who had been diagnosed with cancer, said, I'm going to do the ride. That's all he said. He didn't ask me to join him. He didn't ask me what I thought about it. He just made the statement. And I'll never forget getting in our vehicle, and then my door closed and my wife's door closed, and she said, you have to do the ride. And I said, I know I have to do the ride. I was already a cyclist. The riding part is a no-brainer for me. Happy to be part of a local cycling club, have a race background, have a lot of experience on the bike. But what I didn't have a lot of experience doing was raising money. Murray has since passed on, and we lost him this past September 11th. And at that point, I had to ask myself this question: why? Why will I continue to ride? Why will I continue to raise money, especially after I'm past that $2,500, which is the minimum fundraising goal? Why am I still moving forward? Well, Murray's a reason. Another brother-in-law, Adam's a reason. My dad is a 2-time cancer survivor. And this week alone, I learned of 3 new people that have been diagnosed with cancer. I have a cousin out in Saskatchewan was diagnosed in the last month. One of my team leaders for the club that I lead in Stouffville, his dad was diagnosed with cancer. Last night at a ride, one of my riders came beside me and said, my daughter was just diagnosed. There are still plenty of reasons to ride. They don't have to be my personal reasons. They're people I'm connected to. They're people I love. They're people I share community with as we ride. Plenty of reasons to ride. Remember why you ride. Keep it in front of you. Write it somewhere on a Post-it note. Stick it on your computer screen. Put it as your screensaver on your phone. Remember why you ride. Available resources. There are a lot of resources on the RIDE website, and Nora will speak to some of those in a few minutes. But use them. Make sure that you're aware of what they are. Just go on there and surf around and find out what's in the FAQs. Find out the resources that maybe you didn't even know existed, and jump on there and use them. The other piece that I would throw in here is, if you don't know what to do and you're lost, call one of the ride guides. I've got Steven here beside me, my personal IT support, and it's just one piece. They just want to make your life easy. Make a call. And if nothing else, they'll encourage you to keep going. They'll encourage you to just go another couple emails, send a couple more, add a sticker to your Facebook page or whatever the IT stuff is that you younger folks do that some of us are lost on. Number 3, ask again. When I talk to my teammates and I tell them I send between 8 and 9 waves of emails, they look at me like I have 3 heads. But I do it like this. I ask the first time, I ask the second time, and I thank the second time, and then I repeat. That's it. I repeat. And why do I do that? There's one reason I do it. It doesn't land on your desk at the right time and you forget about that email. It happens to all of us. Doesn't matter if it's a fundraising email, it can be any email. Whatever lands at the wrong time gets ignored. So send it at different times. There's research behind what time emails get the best attention. Get online and Google it. But send multiple emails. In those emails, ask. In those emails, say thank you. Don't limit yourself to the people that you think can give. Ask everyone. Throw that wide net out there. Ask everyone that you know. Give them the opportunity to say yes. They might be itching for a spot to donate some money. They might be itching for an opportunity to support you or to tell you that they appreciate you, and this is a great way for them to do that. We talked briefly when Steve was talking about training about seat time and about 2 or 3 times a week for activity. It's the same in fundraising. You need seat time in fundraising. You have to sit down and put your computer in front of you, put your phone in your hand, stop at the coffee shop, talk to the store manager, talk to the owner, those places that you frequent. Get there, put your time in. Like I said, I'm a cyclist, so it's easy for me to get seat time, saddle time on my bike. But I have to discipline myself to get my fundraising seat time in. When I get my fundraising seat time in, I always see rewards. Just like when you put a ride in, you will always see rewards. You may not see them right away, but you will see them. We call it putting a deposit in the fitness bank. So make sure you ask and ask again. Give them the opportunity to say yes. And then get creative. Find something in this last month that will allow people an excuse to make a donation. In the past, I've done if I hit $1,000 in the next 24 hours, I'll shave my legs. It grows back. Most of it does. So do something like that. Somebody from the RIDE office was sharing about someone who's got a tattoo and is working on getting a second tattoo for funds raised. That's amazing. But get creative. Find something that will work and resonate with people around you. Maybe you even want to shave your head. That's up to you. But I'd give to that cause for some people. And then finally, and this is where as a team captain, I can speak to this really well, get accountable. I have 2 other guys that ride on my team, and we have a steak dinner on the line every year for whoever raises the most out of the 3 of us. So much so that at the start line last year, my buddy Steven sent an email to one of his contacts and said, I'm $100 behind Terry, my captain. I've got to beat him. And he raised $200 at the start line. So I lost last year, but I'm okay with that. We're all pulling on the rope the same way. But the other thing I encourage our riders to do is if they need a challenge, reach out to me. I'll create a team challenge. Because sometimes when you take a team challenge to your donors, they go, oh, well, there's a dollar match in place. If we could do something like that, or you're going to get a free kit, one of our free team kits, if you raise the most in the next 6 days or 3 days or whatever the period is. We like to hear that as a captain. So if you're a rider, you're not a captain, go to your captain and ask them for a challenge. Sometimes they're just itching for you to come so that you have an opportunity to get more funds. We are all on the same team. We are all trying to accomplish the same thing. We have all been affected by cancer. That's why we ride. So we want to make a difference. Go and make your difference. I'll pass it over to Nora for some more information on resources.
Wow, thank you, Terry. Those are some excellent tips. I'm so excited to see them in action over the next few critical fundraising weeks. And to help support you, we have a few resources. Please check out the link that is in the chat right now for fundraising resources on our website, but I want to cover really quick ones with you. Like the Participant Center. If you are not using the Participant Center, you're doing a lot more hard work. Our Participant Center has a lot of pre-populated templates that you can use to modify. It also shows you when people have opened emails, so on and so forth. And so it's a really, really great tool. We have a social media kit available for you to really make those social media stories pop. And we have a refer and raise program. We also have workplace giving. If you do have a matching or a workplace giving program, please do connect with us so that we can help you with that. We do have a form online that does need to be submitted to us in order for those funds to be reflected on your fundraising page. And we have a lot of other ways to give, like offline donation forms. We accept USD donations, and we also have team donation forms. So don't hesitate to connect with us. You can go onto our website and use the live chat feature to ask us more questions there. And I also want to make sure that we celebrate some of the riders who go above and beyond in our community of cancer warriors to raise much needed funds. So you may be part of or have heard of our ambassador program. Our ambassador program is for riders who are fundraising above and beyond their minimum. Let me know in the chat right now, are you an ambassador? Are you working towards being an ambassador? We have 4 different levels, and you will get this beautiful jersey to differentiate you on the route. Check the link in the chat to learn more about the ambassador program. And speaking of recognizing riders on event weekend, if you see someone wearing a bright polka dot jersey on event like this one, you'll know that they were one of the first 10 riders to help raise over $15,000 for that year. Help us celebrate them on the ride with some high fives, and be sure to get your spot for next year. We also want to honor those who have committed to us for a long time with 5, 10, and 50-year helmet milestones. So check the link in the chat again for more information about how you can qualify, and connect with one of us if you have any questions about your qualification. To our milestone riders, we extend our sincerest thanks for your commitment in our shared vision. And now onto the special surprise that we talked about at the beginning. Ryan, ready to reveal the surprise?
Yeah, thanks so much, Nora, and thanks to Terry as well. We know that, or if you have ridden with us before, even this year, we know that our matching programs, as we call them, are a fun incentive to spur on our participants fundraising, our riders fundraising. So I'm not going to give you the specifics in terms of timing, but I can share that we've got another sprint, as we're calling it, match program that's going to take place between, I'll say now and the end of May. It's another $100,000 matching program where we're asking our riders to raise at least, or secure, I should say, at least 5 $40 donations to have up to $200 matched on your fundraising page. So this is going to hit between now and the end of May. And so keep your eye on your inboxes for that. Really, really excited and grateful to the Odette Family Foundation for stepping up as our sprint match partner for this year. So I've got my eye on the clock here. We've got about 6 minutes until we're going to wrap things up. Again, we're so grateful that you're here to join us. We want to make sure we get as many of your questions in as possible. I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Matt, who's going to moderate our chat and kick us off. Matt?
Perfect. Yes, thanks, Ryan. Yeah, we are up against it with the time here, but I'm seeing a couple of messages in the chat. So some questions just to address, and I'll take the first couple here. So I saw from Bob, on YouTube about the overnight parking at Exhibition Place. So there will be overnight parking at Exhibition. It's going to be underground at the Enercare Center. So it's 32. I got the rates here. These are Toronto rates. Keep that in mind. I know it's a lot different from folks who are in the GTA or outside of the GTA. So 32 a vehicle for 2 days, and then 45 for 3 days. And then we would just mention to folks, and this is surprising that we have to mention this, but please do not go underground with your bikes on your roof. So that's just a fair warning to folks. Please take them off before you go underground. For all parking details, this is information that we're going to have up online shortly this week for everybody. So maps, rates, where to park, all kinds of questions will be answered with that. And then again, if you do have any more questions, please feel free to reach out to our team, and we would be happy to help you. Another question that I saw, and I'm going to take two. Sorry guys, I'm being selfish with this, but when will the kits, the ride ready kits, be mailed for folks who have already gone through OCI? The plan is, so once we close OCI, which is the deadline obviously is going to be May 23rd at noon next week. As soon as that's closed, the kits will be mailed out. So you should expect to see your kit on your doorstep by the end of May or very, very early June. So you will be receiving that shortly after we close OCI on May 23rd. A couple of more questions, and I'm going to hand some of these off here. So a question for Noor. Are the routes currently published, ones that are likely I'm reading this terribly, but the routes that are published currently, are what are likely to be rode?
Thanks, Matt. Yes, what is published is most likely going to be what you ride. However, please do be on the lookout for more information from us with more fine-tuned routes. And of course, on the day of the event itself, please follow the directional signage, because we may need to make some minor adjustments based on traffic or just some route, maintenance. But what we do have online is 90% there, but we'll send you an email when everything is 100%. And I also see a question similar to it about Strava, and will the routes be on there? Of course they will be. Be sure to check out your inbox for more information. Back over to you, Matt.
Thanks, Noor. So I had another question here just for Alyssa, and this is just about dropping off your bike at McMaster. Do I need to provide a bicycle lock to keep my bike safe when I drop it off the night before the ride and for the night at McMaster at camp?
Great. So the answer is no, you do not need a bicycle lock. We will have full bike security on duty on Friday overnight as well as Saturday overnight in both Toronto as well as Hamilton. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Alyssa. So a question for Steve. How frequent are the water fill-up stations? And do we all have to bring bike repair gear?
So good question. So the routes online that we have right now, I do believe they show where the pit stops are. Maybe not. But the routes will eventually show where the pit stops are. So it's approximately every 30 kilometers. And there's a lunch stop also in there. So depending on your speed, that could be anywhere from an hour to 2 hours between pit stops. And so we encourage you to bring 2 water bottles on your bike, which should last you in between pit stops. And the other question, I see another question there about, we do encourage everyone to have their own personal bicycle repair kit, which really just means tire levers, a mini pump, or a CO2 cartridge, and then a spare tire or two, or spare tube or two. Now, we do have a lot of roving tech people. We have people supporting at the pit stops. And so there are a lot of people that can help you, but we do encourage you to bring your own stuff so that if you can't change your own tire, someone can maybe help you with that, and then you'll have the supplies. One last thing I'll just notice, I think people asked, the first-time rider asked about bringing their bike on the day of the ride, or is it more common bringing it the night before? I would say it's about a 50-50 split where people will bring their bike on Friday afternoon. We have the ability for people to it's a fully secured bike storage area right at the start line. People can come and do jersey swap if their sizing isn't perfect, or if you haven't done online check-in, God forbid, you can do your check-in on the Friday. I know Libra, our new non-alcoholized beer sponsor, will be down there handing out samples. So if you want to come down and connect with other riders, drop off your bike, we highly encourage it. It'll just take the stress off of showing up on Saturday morning early with your bicycle as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Steve. Okay, I know we are right at 6 o'clock right now, so I'll hand it back to Ryan just to conclude. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. As Matt says, we're right at 6 o'clock, so just a couple of reminders before we finish up here today. The session, our entire video will be recorded and available on our YouTube channel, so please do visit back and have a look and re-watch if you wish. If there's any questions that got asked today that we just did not get a chance to answer, please do connect with us. You can always connect with us at the contact details that are on the screen now, rideguides@thepmcf.ca. Our phone number's there as well, or live chat via our website. All of the information, or vast majority of the information that we talked about today, will be available on our ridetoconquer.ca website very shortly, within the next couple of days. When that happens, you'll receive an email too with links to that information. And I also want to encourage you, as we have today too, if you have yet to OCI, please do get online and online check-in for this year's ride. On behalf of the entire team, I want to thank our team. I want to thank Terry as well for joining us today. And I want to thank all of you on behalf of our scientists, researchers, and staff at the Princess Margaret. We simply could not do what we do without you. We look forward to seeing you on the ride. Have a great night.